Oh, I see hearts already. Good morning. I'm not seeing names, so if you got in here and I missed you, I apologize. So I can get the camera turned around. Hey, Cynthia, right? Natural Grace. I'm gonna Cynthia, right? I knew it. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Super Muggy here as usual. Hello, hello. Today we're talking about the book Holy Shift, like we always do. And I need to give a shout out real quick before we start to the hashtag that's always in my title is Perry Girls and Love Tribe. And those are two groups on Facebook and the internet that help you scope. So if you're a person that's been thinking like, hey, I've got something to say, I've got some things that I want to share, and you're nervous about scoping, go find Perry Girls. It's Periscope, Perry Girls on Facebook, and Dana Garrison. You can search and find it for the Love Tribe. You can also enter Love Tribe in Facebook. So you can hashtag your title so those it's women supporting women so they can find you and help you get over your nerves about starting to use Periscope to share your stuff. So I always put those in there in case anybody from Perry Girls or Love Tribe is looking around for something to watch. And then I know that if I run into a problem, I can go into those Facebook groups and get assistance. I'm going to mute this computer real quick. So that is what those are about. And I've been terribly remiss in mentioning those two groups. They're really, really good support. Is anybody on here thinking about scoping and just hasn't done it yet? Just out of curiosity? Because you can do it. Thank you for the hearts and for the shares. Thank you for being here in the mornings and sharing this with me. I'm so appreciative. You just started? How's it going? Allowing joy. Am I following you yet? Let's see. Yes, I am following you. Whoops. I almost canceled my own broadcast. Kinda. Yeah, well, explore it. It's a really interesting process, and everyone starts out hating it and themselves, and it's scary. Yeah, it's scary. And we can't figure out why. Hi, Tanya. Can't figure out why it's scary, but it is. I used to get off my scopes and just want to throw up. Like, just be so squirmy and uncomfortable inside and just so, like, embarrassed. Hello, all. Hello, all. Tanya, nice to see you. We're just talking about getting started scoping. It's a hard process, but Perry Girls and Love Tribe can help. That's only two of the groups that can help. There's a lot out there, but those are the two that I like. There's a Periscope Healers group, too, you might want to check into with Allie Kennedy, Source and C, at Source and C. That's a good one, too. So let's jump right into our reading for the day and how we're going to use it. September 8th is, I'm going to read a couple of lines over here. It says, I sought for many things and found despair. Now I do seek but one, for in that one is all I need and only what I need. And then the book Holy Shift starts with, all that I sought before I needed not and didn't even want. My only need I did not recognize, but now I see that I need only truth. And then in that, all needs are satisfied, all cravings end, all hopes are fulfilled, and dreams are gone. Now have I everything that I could need, now have I everything that I could want, and now at last I find myself at peace. The peace that we're seeking comes from that connection to Source. But we look for it everywhere but there. Like typically when people are in pain, connecting to Source or Spirit is their last choice. Like, we'll try everything under the sun except what will actually work. We look for it in food, in alcohol. We obsess on relationships. We get fixated on our career. We look for a certain dollar amount of money, all the while having this ache in our chest or this ache in our solar plexus, or both, this unfulfilled ache driving need that we're born with. And somewhere I heard it explained, and I really wish I could remember where I heard this explained, is that that is what we are, and we're born with a built-in like homing signal to connect with it while we're physical, and that homing signal feels like a craving, and we get confused as to what that craving is. Like, we get confused about what it is we're craving. We forget, and it takes us a while to remember that what we're craving is that connection to God. And sometimes it takes us a while to find the mechanics of how to get it, which is why I think there's so many paths to connection, is because we're all so different. So you may be a person that has to try several different roads before you have that sense of peace that they're talking about. Now at last I find myself at peace. Because the craving ends. If the craving hasn't ended, then you know you haven't found it yet. If it ends momentarily, then you know you need to strengthen that connection through daily practice, or actually, daily practice is the only thing that I personally have found has ever worked for myself or my clients. And years of taking people to AA and NA meetings, I took, for those of you who don't know, my background is as a therapist who specializes in trauma and a social worker, and I'm a life coach now for healers and helpers. I do a bunch of different things, Reiki, and it's all in my profile or on my website, caddyshackdesigns.com. But for years I took adolescents to AA meetings because they were in treatment for addictions. And the long-term successful people in AA and NA will tell you without hesitation that their cravings did not end until they surrendered to that higher power. And we've talked about that spiritual surrender before, and it's tricky. It's hard because we feel like, well, if I let go of the reins, all hell's going to break loose, or I'm not going to achieve what I want. But there's a balance, and the further you explore it, there's a balance between surrender and giving up. There's a balance between saying what you want and setting that attention, but then letting the universe orchestrate the delivery, the how, letting go of the how that's going to happen. There's a balance there. But if you are still struggling with cravings for whatever it is, substance, relationships, you're wanting something so much from other people or another person in particular, or you find yourself eating when you don't really want to eat, or you find yourself drinking so much that you're blacking out, the people in AA will tell you, and I can tell you what my experience has been and others that I know and my clients has been, that when you make the connection to God and you sustain it and you make that your one goal, everything else falls into place every time. And it's hard to sustain. And that's what a daily practice is for. So all that I sought before, I didn't need, and I didn't even want. Those things are not what we want. It's like when you want a drink of water, but all you have is like Sprite or Coke or something sweet that doesn't satisfy your thirst at all. You want water. But you can lose your understanding of water and find yourself drinking only soda. And that's not what you want. But you have to take a step back sometimes to figure it out, that you've lost the taste for what it is that you really need. My only need I didn't recognize, because we forget. Our only need is connection to God, and then we know where to go. We know when to make the phone call. We get an impulse to go to that particular store or call a particular person that then leads us further down our path. We get those impulses. It's not like you make your connection to God, and you say, okay, you know what, I'm going to walk through this day, I'm going to let this day be given unto me, and then you sit on your ass and you don't do anything. I mean, you might have days like that, but that's not what your life becomes. It doesn't become that. It becomes easier. And then there's hard times where you're slipping and falling and trying to maintain your connection, but then over time there's this spiraling upward arc of getting better at maintaining that connection and finding that your days go smoother and that in general you feel good. But now I see that I need only truth. The only thing that we really, really need is that connection to God. Our bodies need more than that. Obviously, we need air, food, and we definitely need senior coffee. Right? But I don't really need that. Even in the worst of circumstances, all I need is that connection to God, because that's what's going to open the way to everything else. So let's take an extreme example. In therapy, sometimes people will, yeah. And sometimes in therapy, people will, especially if they're caught up in an addiction or a really strong pattern of craving, they will insist that if they don't have that thing, that they will die. So we talk about surrender, and we talk about letting life be given to you instead of you constantly out there grabbing and grasping. And so it's like, well, you can't feel good if you don't have a place to live. And that's not true. You can. It would be horrible to not have a place to live. And I feel terrible for people who don't. I really do feel for them. But you'll find homeless people who have a good attitude. Good is really such a shabby word. You'll find homeless people who maintain their hope, and you'll find homeless people who've given up. So their circumstances are the same. They're both people who don't have a permanent place to live, but one maintains hope and faith that things are going to be better, or that they're still going to be loved by God or Spirit. They're still going to have that connection to Source that's going to maintain them. So even if you're starving, you can maintain that connection to God. Read Viktor Frankl. Read people who survived the Holocaust with their minds intact. The worst deprivation you can imagine, you can still maintain that underlying peace. So it's kind of like the depth of a lake, a deep lake, or the depths of the ocean is still. It's not perfectly still. There's movement, but it's pretty still. And then as you come up, you have more and more activity, more and more swishy, more and more drama. But even in the worst of circumstances, which is all this, waves crashing and storms going on, you have the option to connect to that still point. The still point that lets you know, even though you're hurting, possibly someone just died, or you just wrecked your car, or you just lost your job and you're in so much pain about it, when you're still underneath that pain is this little quiet place that you can hang out in. You still let your pain process, you don't stuff it away, don't deny it, but you maintain awareness that hope and connection to God and a peaceful stillness is underneath it. So sometimes all you can do, and it's tricky for the mind to maintain awareness of stillness and awareness of pain at the same time. That takes practice. So you might have to dive into the stillness and then go back to your pain and then dive back into the stillness. You may have to bounce back and forth. Someone asked the Dalai Lama once if he was ever angry about the Chinese takeover of his country. I mean, he's in exile. He will never be able to return to his home country. He'll die in exile. And he said, of course, when he hears about atrocities, he is angry, like furious angry. When he thinks about losing his homeland and never being able to go home, he's pissed. He really gets angry. He has all the same emotions that we have. But he talks about he never loses the awareness that underneath it all is the oneness, the stillness, the thing that we have inside us that resolves all our craving, all our striving. So that is what we can work on today. That's what we can take with us today, is reaching for the knowledge that if you find yourself with that like craving for something outside of you, that sense of striving, like I got to get out there and get this thing, you can try and catch yourself today and say, that's not really what I'm after. I may still want to send out an email or go put in a job application. I may still do those actions. Oh, you're so welcome. You're so welcome. You may still take those actions, but you'll do it from a place of centeredness and peace. You'll do it from a place of understanding that you're taking this action, but you already have what you need. You're still going to put in the job application, but you're content while you're doing it. So think about, as just one more example, if you're an employer and you have someone who's coming in with that desperate energy, that striving desperation that they need a job, it's when you're on the other side of that, it can feel really repellent. It can actually push people away from you who would otherwise help you. It's a pushy, kind of clingy, yucky energy that's hard to be near. Versus a person who's coming in and needs a job just as desperately, but is connected to their source energy and understands that regardless of if they get the job or not, they're going to be okay. So that person is coming in and handing you an application with a sense of peace, with a sense of calm that you as an employer will respond to. We know when we're near somebody who's pulling at us and desperate, and the difference when we're standing next to someone who's radiating peace and calm. If I'm an employer, the more likely person that I'm going to want to interview is the one who's radiating peace and calm. Both need the job equally bad, but they've taken a different attitude toward it because one is centered in their space, centered in their source, and the other one is coming from ego mind, desperate, scared, terrified. Does that make sense? Is that making sense to you guys today? I have to go drive in Atlanta today, and I'm really dreading it. If there wasn't a good friend on the other end, I wouldn't do it. So that'll be my practice, is driving in Atlanta traffic. Staying centered. Oh, good. Staying centered that even if a car does hit me, I'll be okay. Even if I do get stuck in traffic, I'll be all right. I can drive in downtown Atlanta and survive it. I don't have to get all freaked out and scared. I don't like city traffic. But that's going to be how I'm using this material today, is I'm going to seek my connection to God before I leave. I'm going to listen to some inspiring stuff. I'll probably find some Periscope replays to listen to. Source and C. That's the woman who runs it. Her name's Allie Kennedy. Her handle is Source, ANDSEA. She lives in Hawaii. So sea like the ocean. And I think it's called Periscope for Healers. So if you're a helper healer type and you want a little additional support for scoping, that's where you can get it. And you can follow Allie Kennedy too at Source and C. So I'll probably listen to some replays, keep myself centered and calm on the drive. It's about 2 hours to where I'm going. And that's the practical application of not worrying about everything out there, not worrying about Atlanta traffic, not getting myself all in a tizzy before I even get in the car. I plan ahead. I'm going to focus on God. I'm going to listen to some inspiring stuff. I'm going to listen to calm music. And I'm going to mind my own business and not worry about the other drivers. And then when I get to Atlanta, I'm going to be a lot less frazzled than I usually am. I'm going to be peaceful, and I'm going to have a good time with my friend who's here from Colorado. So yay! All right, you guys have a great day. And think about applying this stuff through your day. And if you show up tomorrow, I'm here every day before noon Eastern. Let us know how it went. If you have an example, let us know how this stuff is working for you. You're so welcome. I think I'm following you, because I think I have seen you in other groups. Heather, yes, I am following you. Every day kicking ass. Oh, yes. Don't chat while driving. I listen to Scopes while I'm driving too, but yeah. Yes, have a great day. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. If you come by tomorrow, let us know how your day went. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Take care. Love to you all. Blessings on all your heads.